Hello, Twisted Humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alecia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked.
Episode 52. Welcome, Twisted Humans. It's another episode of your favorite podcast, Twisted and Uncorked. You know who we are, because you're here every Tuesday. Hi. Sierra, do you have a fun fact for me?
I do. My fun fact is that the world's lightest mammal is a bumblebee bat.
Oh.
And it weighs the same as 2 peanut M&Ms.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't that just the cutest thing
yes. Ever? Can we have them as pets? Is that allowed?
Probably not. Probably not without a, what's that thing called? An exotic animal license. Which are really not hard to get. I mean, you've seen Tiger King, right?
That's true. That's a true story. What if I rescue it in the wild and it just needs me to love it forever? Where do they even live? That's what I want to know. If anybody knows the answer to that question, let us know.
Where are bumblebee bats found? Southeast Thailand.
Oh.
Nope. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Or Western Thailand.
Somewhere in Thailand. Okay.
Yeah. What is your fun fact?
My fun fact is, you might assume that the honor of the first animated feature film belonged to Walt Disney's 1937 movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. While this is the first Disney movie, 20 years prior, a full-length animated film was made in Argentina. It was a political satire called El Apostol, made up of 58,000 drawings and a running time of 70 minutes. That's a long-ass animated movie.
That is a long animated movie. Wow.
Yeah, but like 1907, like that's insane.
Yeah. It's a lot of drawing.
The more you know.
It's always crazy to me. What's always crazy to me is the claymation stuff.
Right.
So like, obviously now it's all CGI claymation, but there was a time when people literally like barely moved the clay people like teeny tiny bit every time.
Yeah.
In like, because they had to get it without people's fingers on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
That's
have patience for that. And speaking of cool, this wine bottle is incredible.
It is super cool.
Show the class.
Do you know what it's called?
Yeah, it's Hobnob.
Hobnob. Okay. I didn't know if it was knob hob or hobnob. It's like, what is it?
It's Hobnob. So today we are drinking a French wine called Hobnob Wicked Red Blend. This bottle is definitely going in my collection. The artwork is very us. I know. It's incredible. I love it.
It is awesome.
And the bottle reveals aromas of roasted coffee, mocha, toasted hazelnut, spicy notes with embellished hints of orange zest and flour. A wicked but charming style. Bum, bum, bum.
It is called Wicked Red.
Right?
How cool.
Right? So, yeah, super. What do you have in there? Are those eyeballs?
To be, yeah. I didn't put my wine in the fridge, and I wanted it to be cold, and I didn't want it to be watered down, so I put my eyeball ice cubes in my drink for today.
Anybody watching on YouTube is like, you know what? I respect your decision to use your ice cubes, frozen ice cubes, than your fucking regular ice cubes and watering it down, because that would just be an insult, especially to red wine. God. Get away with it more with white wine, but red is, you don't do that. That's like blasphemy. And I also love that you just have eyeballs in your drink now.
I don't know how I feel about this.
You don't?
Because it's super dry.
It is. I was
worried about that.
But
it actually has really good flavor. Like, it's good. And it has, like, a tingle on your tongue where it's like that spicy spot.
I like it. I love
like
that
it's
about
really
reds,
good.
yeah.
But it's also really dry, and I'm like, I don't usually like dry. What is this feeling?
We're broadening your palates here. Remember at the beginning when our first bottle of rosé, when we were back covering Ted Bundy, and you were like, these are all horrible.
Yeah.
But she put on a brave face and then was like, hey guys, we should start doing sangria on my episodes. And that is her brilliant way of,
hey, please.
Yeah, enjoying what she's drinking, which is kind of, I love it. I love doing new recipes every week. And the recipe that she has picked for us next week is an interesting one, but we've done weirder, hence the jalapeno when we did Apothic Inferno. It's really good. I like it.
It's hard for me to rate this because I don't want to say that this is better than like a Roscato, because that's just, I like sweet wines
10 out of
better.
10 for Sierra.
But it's good in a different way, so I'm still going to give it like an 8.5. It's really good.
Right up there with me.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, mine's an 8.5 too. I love reds and especially like really full-bodied reds in the wintertime. Something about it is just cozy to me. So,
yeah,
I like it. And speaking of wine ratings, we just did an overhaul on our website, and you should go check it out. By the time you're listening to this, it'll have been out for a week.
Hey, if there's any interns out there who need a job working on websites for like college or something, I will totally sign your college papers if you do our fucking website, because this shit is annoying.
Yeah. I'm like adding new things and it's like on the bottom of the mobile page when it should be at the top, and I'm like, why is this happening?
Yeah. And
we
it's
are not
like,
experts. We don't claim to be, but
there's like spaces randomly, and I'm like, go away.
I couldn't get the spaces off the bottom on like the regular page. It's just, it's there. We're going to fill it up eventually, I guess. I don't know how to get rid of it.
It's fine. It's fine.
I even YouTubed things, and it was
don't
telling
go to the
me
bottom.
to drag it up. And I was like, I'm doing that, and it's not moving. What is happening? So,
right.
Yeah. If you would like to be an intern for Twisted and Uncorked podcast, hit us up.
Yeah, maybe your efforts as an intern will get us so popular that we can afford to pay you.
Yeah. How is that for a job incentive? I love it so much. No, it was a challenge, but it was lots of fun, and it needed to happen. And I kind of already plugged this yesterday, but that was a Patreon episode, and this is not. So go check it out, guys. We worked really hard.
Go check it out.
And we hope you like it. And you can see all of our ratings and past wines and sangrias if you ever want to refer back quickly, and there's links to all of the TikTok videos that Sierra made of them, except for the first couple at the beginning before we started doing that, and one where she had COVID, but she couldn't drink anyway, guys, so forgive her for that. It was upsetting, okay? Yep. And today I have a Murderless case for you.
Oh,
but before we get into our story, we are going to take a quick break. While we're away, check out the promo for our friends at Bottled Up Bitches, and we will be right back.
Well, Jordan, what is Bottled Up Bitches?
Anything and everything you would talk about, from sexual preferences to annoying husband things to annoying friend things. Not that you're ever annoying you beautiful, perfect.
Shots fired.
But it's everything under the sun. We leave no table unturned.
We turn all that tables. He's got the jawline of his dad, and what I don't want to look like while I'm fucking is that his dad.
You ever see a penis one?
We got 13 minutes. Can we talk about anal? Okay, we'll switch to anal.
Tell me why I was so fucking horny after the fucking piercing. Bottled up bitches! Bottled up bitches!
This shit ain't work safe.
Welcome back. Thanks for checking out our friends, and get ready for a Murderless case with a huge...
I'm so excited.
Heaping spoonful of creep factor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Murderless can go like any way.
I know. And I've had this one ready for, not ready, but I've had it in mind since my last Murderless case, because I really struggle with these for whatever reason, because If it's not brutal torture, what am I covering?
Right.
The girl in the box. I've told stories in the past that have made our listeners want to bolt their doors closed. This one may just make you want to cement it or brick it up for good.
Oh my god. Just by those words, can I guess what it's going to be?
You can absolutely
And
guess.
I'm not saying that this is anything even close, but based on those words, the first story that I think of, which I'm pretty sure, I don't think we covered it on this podcast. I think either I covered it on my last podcast or you covered it before I came on. I've heard it already, but it's the one with the guy who lives in the walls.
No!
Ugh.
That is scary, though. I know who you're talking about. Daniel Plante.
Plante. Mm-hmm.
Yes, no, it is not about Daniel. But it's
the first thing I thought of when you said
from
that.
Canada, and it is called
La Plante. Sorry.
La Plante. Yes, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes, La Plante. Creepy.
La Plante.
Creepy.
Yes.
I don't know. That's his last name. But this one's from Canada, and it's about the Halifax sleepwatcher.
I don't think I've heard of this, but I already don't like it. Not even a little.
She's like, can I
People
leave?
watching while I sleep? No.
Yeah. So fucking
No.
creepy.
Blech.
Yeah. Maybe get a blanket or something. Get that wine glass. Get ready, guys. One quick note I will say is that the victims in some of these stories have chosen to have their names remain anonymous, and thus they have been changed to different names in the press. One of the names is the name of the victim. The other ones are all changed, and I will specify which is which, just in case you want to look up and see where these people are now and whichever. But of course, we always want to honor people's wishes, and there were court affidavits that I did see with real names. Those do come up, but I'm not going to share them today. So, honoring what people would like. So,
Yes, good. Thank you.
somnophilia is a fetish in which a person becomes sexually aroused by seeing others sleep.
I don't like it. Sorry. I heard the word and I was I don't think I like that word.
It sounds like
and then you
what it is,
explained
and
it.
it's creepy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't.
The somnophiliac can get off while watching somebody sleep, falling asleep, or the act of waking up. In some cases, the excitement comes from having sex with the sleeping person. This is often coined sleeping beauty syndrome, and it isn't always dangerous. Consenting couples can indulge with each other safely, pretending to be asleep, or pre-consenting to sexual acts, but like anything sexual in nature, somnophilia can become dangerous and predatory when people begin acting on impulse, focusing their attention on people who haven't given their consent, which is how the sleepwatcher seems to be indulging in his fetish. I was letting it be known because it is a normal disorder to have, and it can be totally fine. You have to consent to any kink, guys. Any kink, you need to consent. What this man did was non-consensual, which makes it a crime. So,
Pre-consent can also be taken away, so everyone knows. I mean, I feel like that's obvious, but I also just feel like it needs to be said.
no, that's an important...
Pre-consent can be taken away.
Yes.
With
that's a
the
good
word
point, 'cause
no.
I did mention that you can pre-consent by falling asleep
Right.
and letting somebody do, but if you're still not good with it, those rules change.
Yeah,
For
if
sure.
you wake up and you're like, okay, no,
I don't
stop.
like this,
That means
yeah.
you fucking stop.
Yep. Good point. No, that's a very good point, because sometimes that doesn't happen. Somebody will pre-consent to something, and that's how things escalate. So, the sleepwatcher reports came in between 2004 and 2011, all within a concentrated 16-block radius around south and west ends of Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there.
I love it.
They're the only other Canadian accent that's like close to Minnesota.
Yes. Wait,
There are, yes.
in the recording, just saw, I think it was dust this time,
Oh.
but it was definitely Orby. It went from top to bottom, so I think it was dust. But just so you know, so you can check out the video.
That's dust behavior. This is not dust behavior. This is dust behavior.
Exactly.
Jesus. Guys, I can't get away from the orbs.
Yeah, I just like to point them out when I see them,
water,
so you can
I know
see
to
them.
look for them later. Yeah, that's good. I think I am haunted. Like, I worry about it sometimes. That'd be a good experiment.
I don't know. I
people.
think haunted, yes, but not in like the scary way.
Yes, like
I feel like it always comes when we're talking about things where like we need some comfort.
I agree.
Maybe it's a good spirit.
I agree. I have good energy though, so I wouldn't be surprised if I attracted good spirits.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I'm telling myself that.
Yeah.
Because I need to. I cleaned my desk with moon water. I recharged all my crystals. I'm out of options. So yes, Nova Scotia. So there are 5 colleges within this area. So it's a young community with lots of people moving in and out. Perfect for a predator.
Yeah.
Many of the reports followed the same pattern. A woman would wake up to a man in her room watching her sleep. Very Golden State Killer-esque.
Ugh.
Minus the horrors that followed that. When they woke up, the man would run out of the house. Between 2004 and 2005, there were about 25 similar reports. And it seemed like he had a cooling off period between 2005 and 2008 as the reports dropped significantly. Police thought that he had maybe moved away, been arrested, was in hiding. Either way, it made this a difficult period to obtain any suspects because when they were out patrolling these neighborhoods, there was no sightings of the person. The reports then picked up shortly after that.
You remember when I did my listener story about the guy who broke into our house and just watched us sleep?
This is immediately what it made me think of. I actually have a note in there about this.
Vomit.
And I was like, and Sierra's husband chased him away naked is word for word what my notes say as a joke.
I don't like this.
I'm so sorry. Maybe he was asleep. Maybe he traveled to Virginia from Nova Scotia. You never know.
Or maybe there's just actually a bunch of creeps out there.
Hang on to that thought.
Ew.
And I'm sorry in advance.
I hate it.
All right, get that wine glass ready.
Thanks. I hate it.
No, I'm so sorry. I hate it too, and I did this research.
Ugh.
So, Hillary Windsor, this is the only real name that's used of his victims, like I told you guys at the beginning, was enrolled in a summer course at the Dalhousie University in July of 2010. The 22-year-old decided to spend the afternoon studying on campus and headed to the Goldberg Computer Science Building. She chose a bright, windowed building for its quiet, study-friendly atmosphere with a proximity to coffee. All very important things as a student. Atmosphere is everything.
Definitely.
At around 4 p.m., it was still light outside. There was a couple of people still in the building, so she felt safe enough to close her eyes for a few minutes when they were starting to get heavy after hours of studying. She closed her eyes, surrendering to a quick nap on one of the cafe's comfy leather couches. 20 minutes later, Hillary opened her eyes to find a stranger sitting on the couch across from her. The only other person in the cafe besides herself. He was staring at her intently with a look on her face that gave her, quote, mad, crazy, bad vibes. She had a little bit of drool on her face, so she felt pretty weird and slightly violated waking up to this dude's eyes ogling at her. Hillary said in a later interview, who would want to watch someone drooling in a fetal position on a couch with a book in her hands, especially in a public setting? End quote.
It's just so vulnerable.
I know, I hate it.
I hate it so much. Oh my god. What year was this? This one?
Between 2004 and 2011, and this one was in 2010.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Like 8 years. 8 years of this nonsense.
I don't like it either. Also, why are college students, like, not victim blaming, but why are college students so trusting?
Yeah. I've had a nap in a coffee shop in a very similar setting. So, on a college campus, yeah. And then I learned about Ted Bundy, and that never happened again. But that's a different...
Yeah. I went to college much, much later in life.
Then, like,
I
18,
like
19,
just
20.
graduated like 2 years ago. So, yeah, I didn't start college until I was like 24.
You had life smarts under your belt at that point, though, right?
Yeah, I cannot
Not to say
imagine.
that college students aren't, but you're just on a one-track mind of studying.
You're a high school student.
Working, yeah.
Yeah,
Glorified
you're a high school student who went to college, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
was way too trusting. Yeah, really creepy. And I totally agree. Like, what the fuck? Why would you want to watch that? And I'm not shaming people that like that, but just, it has to be consensual. Everything has to be consensual. I go back to that.
Yeah.
This mystery man asked Hillary if she wanted to go out sometime. She laughed nervously, stating that she had a boyfriend, and declined. He tried to rebuke this.
Also, fucking no! Like, go away, weirdo! What the fuck?
I know, right?
I'm sleeping here.
Right?
Jesus.
At what point during this interaction did this feel like the good time to ask me out?
Yeah. This poor girl, she's probably like, I have to be nice.
Yeah,
You know, that's
exactly.
the way life was back then.
Women have the expectation in society that we owe people something, that we have to be nice, that we have to be sweet.
I have to be honest here.
You creep me the fuck out. No, that's my answer.
I have to be honest. My whole take on the fuck politeness thing is a little different. I don't like the words fuck politeness because I think everybody should be polite.
Yes, I agree.
However, I think fucking men need politeness, okay? Like, fuck politeness if it's only women.
We don't owe them anything in that setting.
Men, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Why are you watching me sleep in a coffee shop, sir? No. This is the setting
He's
where
the one who needs to learn politeness.
Yes.
Right,
exactly.
Right. Jeez.
Or that's okay, and I get it, because if I was in the exact same situation, I would react exactly as Hillary would.
I know. I would sadly.
Be like, like, no, like, sorry, I have a boyfriend, like, super uncomfortable, but also, like, what the fuck? She's like, no, and she gathered her stuff and left quickly. She walked out the door of the coffee shop, and when she glanced back, she saw the stranger, a 20-something-year-old man, about 5'10", medium build, with brown hair and, quote, dad jeans, about 20 paces behind her.
So he's, like, following her now?
Hillary was immediately panicked and thought that maybe he hadn't taken the rejection well, and now he was going to try and follow her home and do God knows what. She was looking for a safer place to be, so she ducked inside the crowded Subway restaurant on the corner and waited for the man to pass. At this time, she had heard about the sleepwatcher in the area. She had even seen a police composite sketch of the creep who would break into women's houses and watch them, sometimes even touching them, while they slept. She'd seen the story on the news and knew that female university students were told to be extra careful. She couldn't be sure if it was the same guy, though, or if he had just seen her studying and went about it the very wrong and creepy way of asking her out. She didn't want to be presumptuous, and she actually never reported this to the police.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her. Like, I wouldn't want to implicate somebody if it wasn't, like, I would go through the same thought process, so I totally get it.
Exactly.
A few days after Hillary Windsor's encounter, a man showed up on the back porch of a house. This was home to roommates Jeannie Miller and Holly Wilkes. There was a third roommate that lived there as well that we'll talk about later. But around 5 a.m. in early July, they had been in the living room watching a movie with their friend Ian Ian after returning home from a night downtown, but they weren't quite ready to go to bed yet. But also like 5 a.m. Like, if I'd been out drinking and partying all night, I'm fucking sleeping.
Right.
I don't have this level of stamina. I will never understand it. At the time, when the city was usually asleep, they heard a strange noise coming from their back door. They lived in an apartment basement suite. They heard someone walking back and forth, and then silence, before a man's face appeared in the window. Ian stood up and walked towards the door. As soon as the stranger realized that he had been caught, a look of panic shot across his face and he ran. The description that they gave of the man was consistent with the sleepwatcher descriptions. The three didn't call the cops, however, but they did see a police van parked in front of their house. So this guy was at the back, the police van was at the front. And they ran to tell the police officer what had just happened. They basically said that they were already patrolling the area because they had already gotten a few tips that night. That's why they were there. And they're like, cool, so go catch him. Like, he was just at my back door.
Please get him away from me.
Right? Like, but unfortunately, they were never able to catch anybody that night.
Ugh.
And this would not be Jeannie's first encounter with the sleepwalker. A month earlier, she was staying with her mom. She was staying at her mom's place, which was about a 2-minute walk from this basement apartment. She had been out drinking with a couple of friends and had walked to that house instead, alone, around 3 a.m. and crawled into the guest bed. In the morning, her mom asked her if she had been trying to get into her bedroom during the night. She had the 2 dogs in her room, and when Jeannie would stay over, she would typically take the dogs because she used to live there, so it was like a familial thing. I get that. You want to cuddle with your dogs while you're at home for the night. I get it.
Right.
But because it was so late, she probably didn't want to wake her mom. Jeannie said that she hadn't. And her mom told her that she heard somebody shaking her bedroom doorknob from the outside about an hour after she thought she had heard Jeannie arrive home. Whoever it was, they were trying to get in, and they were clearly spooked when the dogs started to bark. Because the doorknob stopped moving, and she heard footsteps down the stairs at the time, she assumed that it was maybe her daughter, and she didn't appear to be alarmed at the time, not until she knew the next day that it wasn't.
Yeah.
They realized the next morning that somebody had sliced the screen in the door at the back of the house to reach the bedroom door handle on the inside, which Jeannie assumes was left unlocked by mistake. She believes that it was the sleepwatcher, though she didn't see anybody that night to confirm whether or not it was the same man that had appeared at her back door a month later. Neither Jeannie nor her mom informed the police. They said, quote, "We just kind of felt like there was nothing they could do anyway. They didn't get a glimpse of anybody, so why waste their time?" Which I get, but also just report shit. Like, I get it.
I mean,
just say that it happened.
All you have to do is try. When the police inevitably decide not to take the report, it's off of your shoulders.
Yeah.
But just try.
But at least they have a record that it happened, and it's not like a hearsay after situation. Right. I get it, but I also am like, just report it.
Are you still calling him the sleepwatcher because we don't know who he is? Because I'm starting to freak out. No.
We have an idea, but we'll get to it at the end. We have an idea, but I'll get to it at the end. A week later, the window creeper was back and bolder than ever before. Jeannie was out of town, but Holly and their third roommate, who I mentioned earlier, Alice Prentice, had spent this particular evening out drinking at a bar called the Toothy Moose, which I love so much.
Oh my goodness.
The bar closed.
Where is Nova Scotia?
It's on the East Coast.
Like in relation
Canada,
to America.
Like far east.
Okay.
Far east in Canada. The toothy moose. I love it so much.
I love that. Yeah.
I don't want to go there. The bar closed at around 3 a.m., but before heading home, they went to a 24 hours McDonald's for food, as you do when you're out drinking and having a girls' night.
Purse burgers.
Right? It wasn't until around 5 a.m. that they finally started to head home, stumbling through the door at 5:30, and they admit after the strange encounter a week earlier, they had forgot to lock the door that night. Yikes. Now, before I get further in this story, we are going to take a quick ad break, and we will be right back.
Twisted and Uncorked will be right back. If you prefer not to listen to ad breaks, head on over to patreon.com/twistedanduncorked for more information on receiving ad-free episodes.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were just introducing that Holly and their other roommate, Alice, had forgotten to lock the door. Holly headed to her own room, while Alice shared her cozy queen-size bed with another friend that had gone out with them named Dawn. Alice was lying on her stomach with her feet facing the wall, and Dawn was laying beside her. As she was starting to doze off, she felt something graze her leg. She shrugged it off, thinking that it was probably just Dawn, because you're sharing a bed with somebody when you're not used to it. But then something in her gut said that something was very wrong as she shot up in bed. She found herself face to face with a man standing at the end of the bed at her, staring at her. She later said that she was paralyzed with fear, which makes sense. It took her a minute to realize what had just happened, and for a split second she thought maybe she was dreaming until she heard her front door slam. She went to call the police immediately and noted that there was a knife laying out on the kitchen counter. One that none of her roommates had left on the counter, nor herself, and the knife didn't even belong to them. Now, this is the first time that we have heard of weapons being used in the case. She described the man as shorter and a little pudgy, which is a different description from the 5'10" medium build. Now, apparently, the police were already aware of there being two different descriptions and flat out told Alice that she was describing the second sleepwatcher. No composite sketch of this one was ever released, but what the fuck? Like, there's just two of them now?
Sounds like there's way more than two, and it's disgusting. But also, I wonder if... Okay, so first I wondered, did the sleepwatcher just let himself go? You know, like, he used to be in good shape.
But
now he just stands around watching people sleep anymore.
Short. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, he just got pudgy. He's like, fuck
yeah.
it.
5'10's not super tall either.
No. So I guess it
like,
could be
Jesse's 5'9". He's short.
Yeah.
He's short.
I guess it could be based on your interpretation.
The other thing, yes. That's the other thing I was going to say is maybe it's just
and this
objective.
Was a year later
like,
from the first
to me,
one, so.
To me, Jesse he's not pudgy. He's not in shape, but he's not pudgy. He is not in shape at all. To someone else who's used to pudgier people, he might be in shape, you know? So it could be all based on interpretation.
Based on perspective, yeah, true.
Right. At the same time, there are probably thousands of creepazoids who are okay with watching people sleep without their consent.
But all within the same 16-block radius?
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
What are the odds
I don't
of
like that he had a knife.
I don't either.
I don't know if maybe he escalated and was like, I'm getting away with this. Maybe let me try to use a knife.
So it could be two different people, like a copycat situation, or it could be a situation of escalation. Either makes sense.
I don't like it.
I don't like either of them. No.
Either way,
I'm upset. I agree. So on September 15th, 2011, a woman woke up to a man fleeing from her bedroom. He was described as 5'10" with a medium build. Not the first time we've heard that. Police were at the scene relatively quickly and apprehended a man wandering around a local middle school matching the description. He was released not long after, though, because they had no evidence to hold him there. can't just catch somebody and just hang on to them forever.
Yeah, that is understandable. Also, don't be by fucking school. It's creepy. Also,
Yeah,
I just had
that's what I was thinking too.
I just had like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a, like an aha moment.
Yeah.
Where I wanted to tell you, because I wanted to tell you this earlier, and I didn't, and this just reminded me of it. There is this guy who, every time I pick up my kids from school, I see him walking his dog in, like, the school's parking lot.
That's weird. Does he
like,
have children?
He walks his dog all the way to, like, where the bus... I get to the school super early because we have shit to do.
And I know your school layout, so where is he?
Right. Yeah, so he comes from across the street where the houses complex is.
Yeah.
And he literally walks across the street to the school, like, walks his dog around, and then walks back before the kids even get out of school. So he's not there to pick up any kids. And
that's
like,
weird.
The first time I ever saw him,
like the
he
thrill
didn't
of him
go
being
on.
There? Well, that's weird.
Well, the first time I saw him, he didn't go on school property. He just went across the street from the school. The second time, he just went like a little bit on school property, like just in that parking lot. Today, I saw him go almost all the way to the back of the school, and it feels like he's trying to figure out, like, how far he can go without someone saying something, and it's freaking me the fuck out.
That's absolutely legitimate.
I don't like it.
I mean, I feel safe for your children because I've seen the escort system, but have you said anything to any of them? Like, be like, does this guy have any business
today was
being
the
on
first
school property?
Yeah, today was the first day where I was like, I don't think this is right. But
it's
also
not.
At the same
I'm sorry,
time,
if you have zero business being around children on a school property, you don't go near there.
Well, the crazy thing is
like, I
the kids aren't
feel
out
comfortable walking my dog through a school if I didn't have kids.
Right.
And I'm a woman with many children in my life. Like,
it's weird because, like, I feel like I can't say anything because there are no kids out when he's walking his dog. It's like 20 minutes before school gets out. But because it's so close
is it like
to when school gets out,
like, like, I'm not quite gonna get caught. Ugh.
It feels like he's, like, testing the waters. Like,
and he's there every day.
I don't like it. Well, for the last 3 days that I've picked up the kids, yeah.
I don't like it.
So today's
either.
Monday, so it was today. What's today? Tuesday. So it was today, yesterday, and Friday is when I started noticing him.
Ew.
But it's like he's getting closer and closer, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like, why?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be sexist, but a grown man has no business being on a school property if he doesn't have kids.
And it bugs me that, like, so he has this big-ass pit bull with him when he goes. My sister has pit bulls. My dad has pit bulls. I have had pit bulls. I love pit bulls.
I do too.
So it makes me feel like if I say something, I'm going to be like a Karen who hates pit bulls. But I'm not. I'm honestly concerned about him being a weirdo.
I don't think he'll be perceived
like
that way. Just be like, hey, I've noticed this guy here the last 3 days. He doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's on the school property. I totally get having to walk your dog. He is a big, beautiful dog, but at the same time...
Yeah.
Word it that way. He is a big, beautiful dog, but he has no...
to the children.
Just so they're aware that he's there, too.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one that's noticed him. I don't think you're going to sound... Especially if you word it that way. I get, like... He's got to walk his big, beautiful dog and take her out or him out, but he has no business being on the school property if he doesn't have kids that he's picking up. That's totally fair. I mean, we have a true crime mindset, but it's better to say something and just be like, hey, just so you're aware. Now. Yeah. You should feel justified. That's creepy. I don't have kids, and I'm weirded out by that. Like I said, I wouldn't do it. So why is this random man doing it?
Yeah.
I don't like it. There's other places he can walk his dog. It doesn't need to be
There's
on the
other
school property.
times you can do it, too.
You're justified. Listen to your gut. You don't like it. Head on a swivel, Sierra.
Anyway.
So, yeah, creepy guy.
Yes.
And, yeah, so they released him because they couldn't... speak for anything. They didn't have any evidence to hold him. So, in 2011, police came across photos that they believed that were taken by the sleepwatcher of women while they were asleep, or in some cases, through their windows while they were undressing. They were investigating a sleepwatcher report at the time, and the woman that they were interviewing handed the Polaroids over, saying that they had been left at her house. Ew. 4 of these photos in particular were released. They were tasteful photos. They weren't like super graphic, but police were hoping that these anonymous women would come forward and hopefully give them more to go on, because at this point they had no leads as to who their man could possibly be. And they were hoping that the victims would recognize that their photos were taken, maybe remember something about that night, and be able to give them more info.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but I also understand the desperation. So,
yeah.
3 of these women came forward relatively quickly and confirmed that they were unaware that these photos were ever taken, which is like,
yeah, don't like that.
it makes my body, you know that picture of the Nightcrawler, or the Carmel creature that you, yeah, that inside out body, that's me right now. I can't deal with
inside out, yeah.
3 of the, everybody was on high alert in the city, understandably. Now, here is where I introduce you to a man named Barry Sinclair. He was born in Trinity Bay and grew up in Sharonville, Nova Scotia, and had been living in the southern Halifax area at the time that the sleepwatcher crimes had occurred, to be closer to his family, from what he said. He had quite the rap sheet and had 28 prior convictions, which included a 2012 conviction for breaking into a woman's house in Halifax's South End area while she was sleeping.
Sounds familiar.
Right? Back in 2011, he was accused of being the man that broke into 2 apartment buildings and watching the women sleep. A Nova Scotia judge found him guilty of breaking into one of the homes, but not guilty of breaking into the other. The house that he was found guilty of breaking into was 100%, because one of the girls that was living there found a cell phone in a mop bucket in the laundry room under the window that he was suspected of coming through. The cell phone was a prepaid phone registered to Barry Sinclair. So sorry, bro.
That reminds me of Matthew Muller of the Gone Girl Gone case, where he left his mom's phone in someone's house.
Yeah. Totally.
Registered to his mom.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Dude.
What are you doing, Matthew? Matthew had problems of his own.
Oh, God.
Go back and listen to that episode, guys. Episode 31, if you haven't already.
It's so important.
Good.
Yeah.
Gone Girl Gone, Murderless. Go check it out. In his 2013 sentencing, the Crown presented a list of Sinclair's 28 prior convictions, including 10 for breaking and entering, 4 for trespassing, 4 for being unlawfully in a dwelling, which, like, I've never heard that worded that way, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
He was also acquitted of 5 counts of voyeurism, which is basically a fancy word for being a peeping Tom, related to a video.
I never knew that.
You didn't know that?
Can I just point that out? I have heard people say voyeurism and voyeur all the time, and the way I've heard it used so many times before, I always thought that it meant like almost like homeless.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of like a flag without a ship kind of feeling.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, like just someone who's just like in an area they're not supposed to be because they don't actually live there, because they don't live anywhere. I never realized that it can be someone who's like probably has a fucking house, is just being a straight up creep.
Yeah, that is that. It's a fancy word for peeping Tom.
A voyeur.
A voyeur. It's not something you want to be. If your daughter comes home and is like, my boyfriend is a voyeur, you're like, get the fuck out. That's how that goes.
No, not even get the fuck out.
And then you call
Put your hands behind your back. This is the citizen's arrest. Okay. Yeah. The fuck?
Meanwhile, Barry is also being acquitted of this voyeurism, which is glorified terms for people peeping Tom, related to a video seized from his home of a woman undressing in their apartment. The reason for this is that some of the recordings had evidence of a different living quarters than Barry Sinclair was living in at the time, and situations on the tapes other than Barry's, such as footage of a cat on the tape that he did not own, like just regular bits in the tape in addition to all the creepy stuff that was recorded around it, didn't fit Barry's house and situation.
So they assumed it was a different person who took the video at their own house? Like, what if Barry just fucking recorded someone else's cat?
Yeah, that's my question too. But the nail in the coffin for that is that there was also nothing in his home to be able to record the type of tape or play the type of tape that was found. So either he destroyed those things, but either way, it wasn't enough evidence to charge him with that. I mean, obviously it was taken away and he was like slap on the wrist situation, but yeah, weird. Just a weird aside that I found.
Weird.
Police said that Barry Sinclair was placed under an interim court order, including several conditions to ensure public safety, prior to his release after he served the 5 years that he was sentenced to for this breaking and entering charge in relation to the sleepwalker case, but they obviously can't pin a bunch of stuff to him that they don't have proof of.
Right.
He moved to St. John's, Newfoundland after serving his 5-year sentence, where he has been under intense police surveillance and experienced a great deal of scrutiny along with curfews that were part of the unusually strict conditions imposed by this, law that was played out because they wanted to protect society after he was out. They couldn't charge him for longer than that, but they made it so he had to follow certain rules afterwards that they felt would keep the town safe, was basically what it was. Barry Sinclair's lawyer, Ellen O'Gorman, said that her client has not reoffended despite the stress of the very difficult requirements that he had to uphold. And he is now able to live where he chooses within the law. Like, okay, lady, like, he terrorized women potentially. Sorry he had to deal with curfews.
I mean, if he's completely innocent, then
sucks.
Yeah, that probably fucking sucks.
But we can't say that he is or he isn't. That's the frustrating part of no crime.
Yeah.
In the term of, like, murder, there's no DNA that can be tested. It's all hearsay. And we have this weird possible copycat situation, too, so.
Yeah.
With Barry's name in the mix, women were brought in to look at a photo lineup to see if more of the sleepwalker cases could be brought back to Barry, but not all of them did. With the differing descriptions, as well as the discrepancies in Barry's picture being picked out in the lineup, the theory still stands that there are copycat sleepwalkers running around that Barry was only responsible for a handful of them during this period of time. Since 2012, no sleepwalker incidents have been reported, which leads many to believe that he was the primary suspect, given that it's quieted down since he's moved. However, there is no way to know for sure. And that is the story of the Halifax sleepwalker.
I feel like it's weird to call it a copycat, because he's not really, like, it's not like someone is specifically copying his way of doing things. Like, I feel like that's just a fetish. Like, people just do that.
But that's why I thought it was important to talk about somnophilia before, because Some
Blech.
people just
I don't like that word.
that. I'm sorry. Some people just like that, and I don't want to kink shame them that they think that that's sexy. Like,
yeah, I feel like there's probably like some OnlyFans account where you can just watch people sleep now. And so maybe that's why people are offending, and I'm not saying that it's okay that they're not doing that, but I feel like now it might be easier to find people who will consent.
100%, where as opposed to 2011, maybe times were still...
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's one main composite sketch that was passed around. So I'm going to quickly show you that composite sketch and Barry's picture at the time of his arrest, and you can let me know your thoughts. Okay. So this is the main composite sketch that was released.
Okay.
Take note. Memorize the face. And this is Barry at the time of his arrest.
Okay.
So, like, hair, exactly the same.
Hair, definitely.
The eyes are the differing parts for me.
For me, it's like a bad sketch of that same guy.
I agree. I totally agree. But at the same time, you gotta think that these women are waking up from a dead sleep to try and remember what this person looked like. So, the composite artist is working with what they can, so. But just based on the fact that he's been convicted of watching women sleep, that one of those breaking and entering situations in that same period had his cell phone at the scene, like, okay.
Right. He probably did at least one of them.
Yes, exactly.
A possibility is fucking dudes just sucked.
True, and you're in a college
there
town.
There could just be multiple dudes. Yeah.
Are taking
college dudes who are like,
yeah,
I can't get laid. Let me go watch this girl sleep and jack off. Like,
yeah,
fucking just creeps.
Yeah. I think it could have very much been a predator taking advantage of a college campus situation, too. For sure. Yeah, I don't like it. Either way, I don't like it. And, yeah, so that's a local Canadian horror for you.
Yeah, that's gross. I hate it.
It's not local. It's closer to you than it is to me, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the right country.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yikes.
So yeah, let us know what you guys think. I will, of course, post the composite sketch as well as the photo of Barry Sinclair. No other formal suspects have ever been apprehended in the case, so no one knows, really. And this is kind of fizzled out, and it's 2022
Can confirm that is not what the guy who broke into my house in Virginia looked like.
Perfect. I was really glad you were going to touch on that. I'm
not
really
the
glad.
Same person.
Really glad. Okay, so Sierra is safe. From that creep, at least.
No. It's worse because it's not that creep. It's another creep.
Yeah.
There are multiple creeps.
There are multiple sleepwatching creeps.
Yes.
But who knows how that situation would have unfolded for you guys had Jesse not woken up, right? Like, it's hard to say. Yeah, I don't like it either. I hate it. I really do. Let us know what you guys think. Lock your fucking doors. That's my advice.
Please.
Just lock them.
Never
bolt
forget.
them shut. Brick them up. Do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys listening. And Sierra, what day is it today before we roll on out of here?
Today is February 8th, and on this day, in 1855, the devil himself was believed to have visited Devon, England. There was heavy snowfall, and the townspeople noticed bipedal hoof prints in the snow. The creature who created this prince... The creature who created this prince is still a mystery. However, we did just learn last week in my cryptid episode that deer sometimes just fucking walk like that, okay? It's fine. It's fine.
It's sometimes normal deer behavior.
Sometimes. It's fine. It's fine.
I still don't like it when they do that. I've seen clips of it now, and I don't like it. But yeah, no.
It's weird for sure.
Yeah, that's a new one. But I like it. Cool history fact for sure.
Yeah.
We so appreciate you guys listening. We will see you next week for Sierra's episode on Tuesday. And in the meantime,
keep it twisted.
Thank you for listening to Twisted and Uncorked podcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can also check out all of our sources and materials, as well as photos for the episode, on our website at twistedanduncorked.com. And you can follow us on social media at Twisted and Uncorked or Twisted_pod on Twitter. Thank you so much for all of your love and support, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Cheers!